Tons of injury news to get into here on a Friday. I am Harrison Graham. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. We'll get to some Bears injury updates, a huge NFC North injury, plus my final thoughts on Bears versus Commanders. But let's start with Jayden Daniels. He is going to be a game time decision per Washington. He did practice on Friday. It's unclear how much he did, as the open portion of practice to the media, he was not out on the practice field, but apparently he did some work on the indoor field. So a little bit unclear. I think Washington's kind of keeping that mirage going about whether or not he's actually going to play. My gut feeling still says he's not going to play. However, Dan Quinn said it'll be a game time decision. The next 48 hours will be critical. Jayden Daniels spoke after practice as well, says he's feeling good, but he has a couple of hurdles to get past still if he's going to play. Said he wants to play, but it's not up to him. So that tells me this is going to be a medical and team decision, that the Commanders are going to decide as a team whether or not he's going to play in this football game against the Bears. And I've said it all week. I feel like Washington's going to be cautious here. They're 5-2. Jayden Daniels is their number 2 overall pick. They're thinking big picture, not only the rest of this season, but years to come. And if they think further injury is at risk, like if he's 80%, they're probably not going to play him in a week 8 game. So I would give it a 35% chance that he plays in this game on Sunday. I've said all week, I'd like to see him play. I'd like to see Caleb Williams versus Jayden Daniels. But from a Bears standpoint, the Bears got to focus on themselves. How can they execute? How can they continue to score 30-plus points like they've averaged in each of their last 3 wins? But we'll know on Sunday for sure whether or not Jayden plays. I'm sure they'll try to put him through a workout Sunday morning to see how those ribs are feeling. And then ultimately, an hour and a half before kickoff, we'll know when the inactives come out. Gut feeling tells me he sits out. I hope he plays. If he doesn't, it's going to be Marcus Mariota. And speaking of which, we will be live for this entire game on Sunday. So subscribe and join us this Sunday at 2 o'clock Central Time here on Chicago Bears Now for a Bears versus Commanders watch party. If Jayden can't go, Marcus Mariota will start. I put out a video earlier this morning on why the Bears can't afford to overlook Marcus Mariota. So once you subscribe, after this video concludes, go to the content tab and click that video and go check that out. Marcus Mariota 2-0 in his career when starting against the Bears, has a win with the Titans over Chicago, and beat the Bears in his last win as a starter, with the Falcons. So be sure to check that out. All right, on the Bears injury front, Jaquan Brisker not going to play in this one. He's already been ruled out. Did not practice all week, still in the concussion protocol. So hopefully he's able to clear next week. By next Sunday, it will have been 21 days. As of today, it's been 12 days, still not cleared. And look, I think this is the reality of a guy who's had multiple concussions. Every time he has one, it's going to take longer and longer for him to clear protocol. So it just is what it is. What that means for his long-term future as he is a free agent after next year, I'm not sure, but wishing the best for Brisker. These head injuries are obviously a big deal in a scary situation, so hopefully he's back sooner rather than later, but the Bears are not going to bring him back before he's cleared, obviously. It's an intense concussion protocol that the NFL has, so keep that in mind. Kyler Gordon, he has also been ruled out with the hamstring injury, so 40% of this Bears starting secondary is out. You would hope one or both of these players can return next week. The good news is Tyrique Stevenson did practice in full today. He doesn't have an injury designation for Sunday. He will give it a go. So both your outside corners, Jalen Johnson and Tyrique Stevenson, are healthy and are going to play. Look for Josh Blackwell to start at nickel and for Elijah Hicks to start in place for Jaquan Brisker at that strong safety spot. Couple more injury notes we're going to get to on the Bears, and then a big one around the NFC North after we get a word in from our sponsor. Shout out to Turtle Beach for sponsoring today's show. Turtle Beach is the #1 brand in gaming headsets and accessories. I'm rocking my Turtle Beach tonight on our post-game show, and it picks up audio so clearly. I always use these headsets when I'm playing video games. And I got to be honest, you're basically cheating when you use Turtle Beach headsets. Get 10% off with code chat at turtlebeach.com/chat. And I recommend you get their all new Gen 3 Stealth 600 headset, as it is the best gaming headset out there. You'll hear every footstep, every reload, every enemy sneaking up on you as if they were in your living room. Turtle Beach gives you a leg up against the competition in the gaming world. And more than that, just gives you the best overall experience. Maybe you're like me, you like to play a lot of sports games, Madden, College Football 25. You hear the broadcast, the crowd noises. It's like you're actually at the big game. It's just an awesome experience. And best part about Turtle Beach headsets, they are extraordinarily comfortable. So once again, get 10% off with code chat at turtlebeach.com/chat. That's code chat at turtlebeach.com/chat. That link and promo code are in the comments and description of this video. Check out Turtle Beach. Get started today. All right, we continue here. Let's talk about the last couple of Bears injury notes here as we get ready for Sunday's game against the Washington Commanders for the Chicago Bears. The Bears have 3 players listed as questionable. Ironically, none of these 3 players are on the active 53-man roster right now. Running back Travis Homer, offensive lineman Larry Borom, defensive end Jacob Martin. If you remember, they started Martin's practice window before the London game. So that would have been 16 days ago, 2 weeks ago on Wednesday. So you got a 21-day practice window. Once you activate that, you either have to, within that 21 days, place them on the 53-man roster, or they stay on IR for the rest of the year. So they don't have to make a decision by Sunday on Jacob Martin, but they have until Tuesday or Wednesday before whatever the clock starts of that 21 days to activate him. And if they do, that means they've got to cut somebody, or they got to trade somebody, or they got to put someone on IR. I don't think Gordon or Brisker's going on IR, so that would lead one to believe that they would cut somebody. Who that could be, I'm not sure. Could that be fullback Kari Blasingame? Could that be offensive lineman Nate Davis? Could they find a trade partner for Nate Davis or Dominique Robinson? Who knows? But they may have to do that for up to 3 guys, with Travis Homer and Larry Borom ready to return as well. Now, their practice windows just started this week, so they don't necessarily have to make decisions on those 2 players right away. But with Jacob Martin in particular, by this time next week, we will know if he is on the 53-man roster or not. So keep that in mind. Also, big NFC North news. If you watched Thursday Night Football last night, you saw Christian Darrisaw, the Vikings all-pro caliber left tackle, left the game with a knee injury. There was speculation on how serious it was. Well, it's season ending. He's going to have a season-ending surgery and miss the remainder of the year, and that's massive. He is probably, outside of, I guess, Sam Darnold at this point, because J.J. McCarthy is out for the year, so they would go to Nick Mullins. It's obviously a major drop-off. He's probably their most irreplaceable player, other than maybe Justin Jefferson. But I would argue Darrisaw might even be more irreplaceable, because you don't replace all-pro caliber left tackles. If you're lucky, your backup is serviceable. There's just not a lot of premium offensive linemen, so they're in a pickle here. And if you watch close last night, once he went out, the Rams defensive line had their way on the left side of that offensive line. So this is a major problem for the Vikings. They've lost 2 in a row. And with this division right now, with the Bears chasing from behind, all of a sudden for the Vikings, they could be in last place by the end of the weekend. And now they have to press forward without Darrisaw. I mean, this thing is nip and tuck between these 4 teams: the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers, and the Bears. And I would say this is the most significant injury in the division up to this point, and that includes Aiden Hutchinson. Like, the Lions are still going to be able to score a bunch of points without Aiden Hutchinson. It's definitely a significant injury, but this Darrisaw one, I'm not sure the Vikings can overcome that. So I would expect them to be on the horn trying to replace him in some manner. You're not going to replace him fully, but do they sign David Bakhtiari, Donovan Smith? They want Larry Borom. I don't know if polls would help them out, but I don't know if trading Borom to them really helps them out that much. But this is something to monitor and to watch closely with the Vikings moving forward. They're already starting to lose the rope a little bit these last couple of weeks, and now they lose a premier player in Christian Darrisaw. So that is a major injury. Like there's no understating how significant this is. So pretty tough blow for Minnesota. All right, some final thoughts on Bears versus Commanders. Obviously, if Jayden Daniels can play, he's going to be at least sore, right? Those ribs are clearly not 100%. Otherwise, his status at minimum wouldn't be in doubt. If he does play, I would expect Washington to try to protect him a little bit. Quick passes, try to get the running backs going. Maybe don't run him as much. If he does run and you can tackle him in bounds within the rules, you got to encourage your guys to do that. You're not trying to hurt anybody, but if you're playing within the rules of the game, it's fair game. It's just the reality of the NFL. So, again, I don't think they're going to play Daniels, but if they do, I would expect a little more of a cautious approach in terms of how often they run him. If Mariota does play, I would expect the Commanders to lean into his running because he's not a guy who can win consistently from the pocket. So I would expect Cliff Kingsbury to get him on the move, simplify things, and utilize zone reads, occasional RPOs, etc. Yeah, I think if you're the Bears, you got to be feeling decent about this matchup. Coming off your bye, I get you got a couple of guys in your secondary down, but if it's Marcus Mariota, I think Josh Blackwell and Elijah Hicks can hold down the fort just fine, along with Jalen Johnson, Kevin Byard, and Tyrique Stevenson. So this is a great opportunity for the Bears to go into Washington, get a road win, improve to 5-2, then let it rip at Arizona next week. I think at minimum you got to split these two road games before you come home and play New England at home in what is a virtual must-win against Drake May and company. So we'll see how the Bears look on Sunday. Hopefully they come prepared to play after the bye week. You would hope that the offense, who has some momentum, adds even more wrinkles with some extra time to prepare. So certainly excited to see all of that potentially play out. And be sure to subscribe and join us. We'll have a mailbag episode come out tomorrow here on the channel. And then Sunday, it will be game day. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down, and we will see you soon.